So, I am very excited about the Democratic Party right now because of all the things that I'm expecting them to do for the country, but I am also excited about the Republican Party because they are the ones who now have the responsibility to change themselves. And that's a very interesting place to be if you can get over the humiliation and frustration of being beat and powerless. To come back up, it's going to take creativity and risk-taking and uncomfortable compromises and magnetic leaders who embody the new Republican platform, which is currently a mystery. It is unknown. So don't pay too much attention right now to the TV Republicans who are trying to define the future of the party for us. They do not know. Nobody represents the Republican Party right now. Those people are arguing their case in a power struggle that will determine what the party is going to stand for in the next decade. Now, I predict that this change will be fairly big departure from where they are now, and that it will take a long time to happen, okay? I'm saying big and slow. Big because they've been putting it off for a very long time. The country turned against them pretty hard in 2005, and yet they followed Bush's lead, saying, I don't care what you want, we're going to do it this way. And the strange belief that they could somehow get away with this is what led to very big defeats in 06 and 08, flushing their power down the toilet the same way they did our budget surplus 5 years earlier. So they are far away from the middle right now, and they're going to have to grapple with their own extremist elements on evolution, global warming, stem cells, immigrants, torture, war, before they even get on a footing from which to present themselves as a good alternative to the Democrats. So that is a lot of cutting the fat to get down to the core Republican values that 51% of us or more could vote for. Essentially something rooted in limiting the size of government and the scope of government in our lives. That is what is at the core. Now, I say that it will be slow in addition to big, not just because there is so much to change, but because they are tactically unprepared for the future of democracy. Karl Rove's network of church groups worked great before the internet had fully come into its own, but now online communities will be the engines of strong campaigns. Republicans are not prepared for this today. They need an influx of young, savvy, community-sustaining, small money-donating nerds with the desire to own a piece of the Republican movement. Now, does that sound familiar? Didn't they just recently shun and humiliate a certain Texas Republican with 16 years in Congress who single-handedly built the most impressive online political army ever seen up to that point, not just breaking but doubling fundraising records while still only in the primaries? Oh, and didn't he beat John McCain in Montana, Nevada, and Alaska and come in 4th out of 7, yet the party elite worked to keep him out of the debates? Yeah. They shunned Ron Paul and his army when the smart thing to do would have been to at least patronize them. You know what patronizing them is like? Your voice matters. You're welcome here. You enrich the conversation in this diverse party, and I'm sure we'll all support the eventual nominee, whomever that may be. Wink, wink. Now, some Ron Paul people would not have stuck around for John McCain under any circumstances, but you would be surprised how much loyalty you can build just by being nice to people. But no, they didn't retain their useful fringe element. They kicked them to the curb, where they either joined Obama or they are still on the sidelines with, excuse me, but this is the perfect use of this term, with their shit-eating grins watching the tactical tailspin of Republican ineptitude. So listen up. If you were a Ron Paul supporter last year, I'm sorry, but you were doomed to lose. There was no way to rebuild the party before it got torn down. Your opportunity is now, guys. The establishment is weak now and looking for new blood and new issues, and if you have the energy in 2009 to make the same effort you made in 07 and 08, you can get everything you wanted. Almost. Everything you had hoped for, except for one thing. And it's kind of like Moses. He led the Hebrews to the Promised Land, and he died on the mountain that overlooked it. He never entered. He was 120 years old. And Ron Paul is 73, and he will never be president. You need a generation of Joshuas, the leaders of the next stage, to step forward and transform the Ron Paul movement from a cult of personality into a general set of values that will compete with the other constituencies in the Republican Party, and because of your superior organizing skills, will win more battles than you lose. That's the real test of you. The campaign, a predictable spectacle, but this is real opportunity. Now, why do I want to see the Republican Party rebuilt so strongly? I'm a progressive. I'm not going to vote for you even if you completely succeed, but I know the other party will eventually regain power, and when it does, I want all of us, all parties to be agreed that intelligence, ability, and peace are valued above all else on all sides of our government. Wouldn't that be nice?